Hi, this is Daniela Wolf with Bestie Life, the podcast, and this is your community to support you through the little and not so little events that make up your day-to-day life. From the I've got this moments to the I just can't moments. We are here to empower all women to find and develop the skills they need to find peace, balance, and the bliss in their busy. Through solo episodes as well as interviews with amazing women who share their journey and their story and how it works for you. I hope you find the inspirations to make you laugh, think, as well as maybe rethink what you thought you knew, and connect as we realize that we are all living similar ups and downs and don't have to do it alone. So excited for you to hear this episode, and thanks so much for joining me today. Hi, this is Daniela with Bestie Life, the podcast, and today I am so excited for you to meet Dr. Lisa Petty. She earned her doctorate researching what gets in the way of midlife women taking care of their well-being. And so as a midlife mentor, she now helps women navigate the big questions of midlife, like who am I now? What's next for me? I think we've all asked that at so many different points in our life, as well as her new book is called Forget About Having It All, The Midlife Woman's Guide to Creating the Life You Want. So thank you so much, Dr. Lisa, for joining me today.
Oh, I'm so excited to be here. As I said off air, I love talking about this stuff.
I know. And I know you specialize in midlife women, but I think as women, each season, each stage, sometimes we probably hit some of these same questions as we're pivoting and looking at different directions. I have a soon to be 18-year-old looking to head off to college, and definitely everyone asks, what do you want to do? What do you want to be? Who are you going to become? And it's huge. And
yes, I think even though, we have a role and a responsibility as women who've been through it a little bit to help your daughter and help the daughters, and share what we've learned, because women are notorious for not talking about the hard stuff.
Absolutely. As well as a soon to be empty nester, I'm definitely almost in that same place, like redefining who I am. I'm not dropping off at practice. I'm not picking up. I'm not getting PTA emails anymore next year, and so it does create a whole new level. What do they say? New level, new devil, of those types of things. But before we go too far, please share your background, share kind of what led you to this point, what your journey has been, and all the great stuff.
Okay, thanks. Well, I've always worked with women. I started working as a holistic nutritionist. So as a holistic nutritionist, that means, you look at the whole body. It's not just about food. It's about all aspects of well-being. Anyway, I find that as, when you're working with a certain group, as they age, you age, they age, right? So as I was getting into my own midlife years, my clients were also. And I started to notice this trend where the women weren't doing the thing that they said that they were going to do in order to get the goal that they said they wanted to get. So let's say, for example, that they wanted to drop some weight. So we would make a plan like, okay, drink more water. Can you drink more water? And they'd say, oh yeah, for sure. And then we'd get together in a couple of weeks and I'd go, so how did that go? And they'd say, yeah, I didn't do it. And I'd say, oh, okay, well, can we put that back on the agenda? Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I can do that this time. And we'd get together again and they would say, no, I didn't do it. And so professionally, I was going through this crisis like, oh my gosh, I can't help people anymore. What's wrong with me, right? What skills gaps do I have? Because I'm not reaching people the way that I used to. And then, so professionally, that was happening. Personally, my youngest started looking at university brochures. And I could see into the future. I saw my empty nest and the panic started, right? I was like, oh my gosh, who am I if I am not driving to rowing practice at 4 a.m, right? I remember those last times driving him to rowing practice at 4 a.m. and thinking, most people would complain. I was cherishing that, that time and knowing that I was doing that. So I could see this big gap in my own future. And I thought, oh my gosh, like there could be a crisis here if I don't get proactive about who I am without this major part of my identity. So long story short, I went to university to fill that skills gap that I thought I had. And while I was there, I got a master's degree studying the experience that women have with food at midlife.
That's a
I
big one.
know. I know.
That's a whole different episode, I'm sure.
It certainly is. But through that process, I realized there were bigger questions. And so I decided to do my doctorate as a very midlife woman. And my doctorate is essentially in self-care. My doctorate looked at the what gets in the way of women at midlife taking care of their well-being, because that's what sent me to school anyway. Why am I not able to help these women? Why are they not doing the things they say they want to do? And so it was a pretty fascinating journey for me. And now, and while I was doing that, so as I said, I was going through it personally. And so now I'm able to combine my personal journey with my research background and help women navigate this really tricky time for themselves.
Absolutely. Because I feel like, when we're younger or our kids are younger, we say, I don't have the time. I'll do it when the kids are older. I'll do it when, later. I'll do it when I have more money. And yet we get to midlife, the kids are gone. We're pretty much financially stable, hopefully, at that point. We've got the time, and yet it's still not happening.
Yes, yes, it's very interesting, and a lot of that comes from this social programming around us that tells us how we're supposed to be, and as women, what we're supposed to look like and act like and feel like, and what we're supposed to be doing with our time. And once we're very controlled when we're young because we have this agenda of things we want to accomplish. If we want to have a family, we you can't do that when you're 60, right? There's a certain period of your life that you have to do that. And, ticking off the to-dos, as you said, of things that we may want to accomplish when we're young, there isn't space. And but that also, that younger phase of our lives is very sort of controlled for us, right? This is how this must be done. Well, when we get to midlife and everything's opens up, there are no rules anymore in the sense of what you're supposed to accomplish, right? It's this wide open field, and women look at it and go,
it's like the edge of a cliff, probably.
Exactly. Well, I was having a conversation with someone, we described it as sort of like you're standing on a stage in the dark. Someone took your script, and suddenly the spotlight is on you, and you're just standing there going,
Yes.
You're all watching me, but I don't know why I'm here. I don't
Right.
know
Well,
what
because we've never been the spotlight, when we've put everybody else first, we've never had to figure it out for ourselves.
Exactly. And so we don't know how to start. We don't know what to do. We don't feel like we have permission that we quote unquote should. So it's a minefield of confusion and frustration. And there is a little bit of apathy and boredom in there too, because you're just so depleted, I think, from all the expectations for so long. It's sort of like you just hit the wall, right? And you're just like, I don't know what's on the other side of this.
So where would be like one place to start if someone was listening right now and totally nodding their head along, going, "Oh my gosh, yes, I'm there," or "I see it coming"? What would be one thing they could like tune into or focus on?
Well, first of all, I want anyone who's listening and going, "Oh my gosh, she's talking to me." Good, because it's important to understand that you're not alone. Everyone thinks that there's something wrong with me. Everybody else is doing this. Everybody else has got it together. Everyone else is happy. No, I'm telling you right now, if you're a woman of a certain life experience, it's not about age. It's about this transition period. If you're there, you're right on track. If you're feeling lost, confused, frustrated, a little bit bored, a little bit angry, even a little bit irritable, if you're tired, all of these things are perfectly common. That doesn't make them easier, but hopefully knowing that you're not alone is helpful. So that's the first thing. Second of all, easy breezy lemon squeezy, you do have permission. You absolutely have permission to start turning that spotlight on yourself, and you get to write your own script. You don't have to wait for somebody to hand it to you. I know can be paralyzing to know, right? It's all on you. And I guess that's the other thing to remember as well. Nobody's going to come in and save you, right? Yeah. You really need to, if you're at that place where you've had enough with feeling those sort of heavy feelings, then it's on you to make a different choice. And so I think what's really important, the first step for women, is to just become aware of where they are now. And this means doing lots of reflection. Again, it involves giving yourself permission to take the time to sit with a pen and a notepad and just be, right?
Yeah.
Just be with yourself and just understand who you are and the influences outside of yourself that got you to this place. So I'm talking about your beliefs and your mindset and your traditions and culture. And, one of the big sort of programming that women going through midlife have experienced is this concept of having it all.
Yeah.
Right. And
it's so much of a huge expectation.
It is. So it was put out like this great freedom. There you go, ladies, go have it all. And instead, somewhere along the way, it got translated into no, do it all.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
Do it all. Having it all means a lot of doing. And so I like to compare it to like going through a buffet. I mean, when you have your plate and you're going through the buffet, you might want to try most things on the buffet and you might want to have a little bit of some things, but you certainly don't go and fill your plate with stuff you don't like, stuff you don't want, and and then force yourself to eat it all, right?
Stuff you're allergic. That's a great analogy.
Like you don't do that. But as a woman, we were told, no, go fill up your plate with everything you don't like, that makes you feel ill, that makes you feel uncomfortable, that gives you bloat, that you're allergic. Go fill it all up and then eat it and enjoy yourself, because that's what freedom is, honey.
Right. Yeah. It's taking it all, whether you want it or not. And I loved so many things that you've said, because even if you're not at midlife, you might think I'm not there yet. To start doing some of those things now, some of that reflection, some of that permission, even if it's just for a little bit, makes it easier when you get to that point, because it's not so foreign, it's not so scary.
Well, yeah, you can start at any point, right? And this is the challenge too with women. We're still raised to be a certain way. We're still raised to be gentle and nurturing and kind and loving and all of the people pleasers, and put yourself last. And it's okay if you're sick, get up and make everybody supper. Like that's the way still culturally the expectations are for women. And so when you can actually be in your body and be aware of your own limits, of what you're capable of giving, and once you are giving from resentment, it's not giving anymore, right? It's depletion, right? So just becoming very aware of how you want to be in your life. Do this at any age. It doesn't matter how old you are. You were mentioning your daughter is 18. Anyone who has young girls at home, talk to them about, how do you feel? We're always asking or being asked how we think. Well, what do you think about that? Everybody can think. We all have a brain, right? People who are listening have intelligence. We can sort problems that way. What we're not very good at is, how do you feel? Right. So even though the checklist might say, oh yeah, I should, quote, you can't see the air quotes, I should do this. If your body is saying, oh, but that's too much for me, I'm already feeling heavy from that, I'm already feeling the anxiety from that, I'm panicking, whatever, that's what we have to pay attention more to. And so that applies across all age groups.
Yeah, no, that awareness part is huge though, because I think, like you said, we just don't take that time to sit in it, because it can be uncomfortable. It can make us, go through a process that we'd rather maybe just ignore and just stay busy and doing the things, because when we have to do that self-reflection, not everything's going to be sunny side up. And that's probably a part of that process too.
Absolutely. It is. And that was, important what you just said there. Women tend to live, especially the early part of our lives, on autopilot. We're not even paying attention, not even aware. And yes, once we start asking these questions, we might not like some of the answers. Like, is this the best relationship for me? Is this the job I want? Is this the place I want to live? Right? We have to have courage. It's not, people talk about self-care in a way that's, bubble baths and rainbows and unicorns and butterflies. And self-care sometimes is bruising, broken knuckles, hard stuff.
My listeners all know that's definitely not what I preach as well. So yeah, you're definitely speaking into the choir over here.
Yeah. So we have to be prepared to do that if we want to make change, right? We can't say, oh, my life is so unpleasant, but I'm not going to do anything about it.
Yeah.
Right.
So to share a little bit then personally, what are some of the things based on what you've learned, what you've experienced from a self-care perspective that you do for yourself? How do you take care of yourself on a daily basis?
Surprise, surprise, being, having a research doctorate, I spend a lot of time in my head.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I have to actually make time in a day to get out of my head and
Right.
into my beingness. So that, and we're heading into the spring and summer here in North America now. So excited because I love gardening.
Mm-hmm.
And some people wouldn't think that gardening is self-care, but for me, it is 100% self-care. I get lost in it. It's very meditative for me. I
Mm-hmm.
also do what I call garden yoga, and any
Ooh.
gardeners know exactly what I mean when you stretch this way and then you leap that way.
Oh, I love
um,
that.
all
Does pulling weeds count too?
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. That is garden yoga right there. So that kind of thing that helps me get into my body, out of my head and into my body. And year round, I journal. And it was something I resisted for most of my life for exactly the reason that you just mentioned, that I knew that once I got into it, I would find the answers that I didn't want to face.
Mm-hmm.
But it is incredibly powerful because you get into a sort of a stream of consciousness, and your brain then clicks out, and you've connected with your own wisdom, and you're suddenly saying, writing down things that come from God, source, universe, whatever terminology works for you, or maybe it's, just your own higher self or your own inner wisdom. The stuff that comes out of you, the answers, sometimes you read it and you go, oh my gosh, I'm a genius. So brilliant.
We shouldn't be so surprised because we all really are, but I think we just forget to acknowledge it.
Absolutely.
We're like, oh, that's
Absolutely.
nothing. Oh, that's nothing. Like you literally just cooked a meal for a family, you coordinated a holiday, you've done all these amazing things. We are awesome.
Yes, we are awesome. And so I'm glad that you said that, because one of my mission actually is to remind a million women that they're awesome,
Mm-hmm.
and to find it in themselves, whatever it is that they're good at, that brings them joy, that inspires people around them, and just be that, outrageously be that, because I think once women are standing in that power, we can change the world.
I love that. I love that. That's such a great quote. So, another part of self care that I always love to talk about is gratitude, because I think, we look so much from actions and doing and things, but just appreciating the things we have can be a big part of that. So, what would you say are like two or three things you're most grateful for?
Oh my gosh, my kids.
Mm-hmm.
100% without even thinking about it. My It's really important, of course, to have all your basic needs met, right? And it's challenging for people who are starting a gratitude practice to move beyond those things. So of course, I'm grateful for my home, and I'm grateful for regular meals, and I'm grateful for my health. And if you're starting a gratitude practice, you probably get stumped after writing those things down, right? Okay, yep.
Mm-hmm.
And my family, yep, I'm done. Okay, now. And once you push past some of those things, so some of the other things that I'm so grateful for is my curiosity.
Mm-hmm.
I am led by my curiosity. I follow it everywhere. It got me into a doctorate.
Yeah. I
I was
mean,
not planning that. Um, and that's where it headed. I'm really grateful for my awareness of sort of the connectedness of all things. I'm so grateful when I get out in nature and I lose myself.
mm-hmm.
Just that ability to connect with the
Yeah.
ground and the earth and the sun. And that reminded me of another thing. I am grateful for the feeling of the sun on my back.
Yes. Love that.
I just absolutely love that. And then that makes me think of a nice hot shower. I'm grateful for a nice hot shower too. So I
Mm-hmm.
just I just think and it's really important. I love this question because if you want to create more in your life, you're not going to get it if you're not grateful for what you already have, right? We
Yes.
are all energy, and gratitude is an energetic force as well. And if you're not showing gratitude, then gratitude says, well, I guess you've tapped out. There's no more room for you.
Right. And like you said too, it's hard to ever be happy if you're always looking for the next thing and never appreciating what you have.
Absolutely. And it doesn't, once your basic needs are met, oh my gosh, the gratitude is it's anything above and beyond that. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, we should be grateful for that for sure, but anything above and beyond basic needs, oh, those are just gifts.
Yes, absolutely. So where can people find you? How can they follow you, work with you, get a copy of your book?
Oh,
Forget
thank you.
about having it all.
Yes, yes. Isn't that a cheeky title?
Yes.
It's sort of based on that idea of putting what you want on your own plate at the buffet. My website is lisapetty.com. I have just introduced a membership program for women who are just starting to have these questions, and
Awesome.
it's full of resources, meditations, guided journals, lessons, mini courses, that kind of thing, at a really affordable price at $7. Like, you cannot.
Oh, that's less than like getting coffee every day.
I know, I know. That's how I'm going to reach 1 million women. I'm going to take away any barrier, right? So that I can inspire them to do some of this work for themselves. Yeah, so just go to my website, lisapetty.com. You can follow. I kept everything my name just to make it easier. On Instagram, Dr. Lisa Petty. On Facebook, Dr. Lisa Petty. And I have a free Facebook group called Midlife Alchemy, where we have connection and community as well, if you want to check that out.
Awesome. And all those links will be live in the show notes below. And your book, is it on Amazon? Any online retailer?
It is on any online retailer. That's right. Forget about having it all.
Yes. Well, thank you so much, Lisa. I love our conversation. I love that you're not even that far from me if we wanted to ever meet in real life as well.
Yes, we should do that. We should do that.
Right over the bridge. So
yes.
Thank you. We will definitely connect again. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me. Have a lovely day.
Thanks so much again for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Please let me know any questions or comments that you have. Also, if you can please leave an Apple 5-star review so that this episode can be shared with more women. There's 2 quotes that I love. Alone we may be strong, but together we are stronger, as well as when women support each other, incredible things happen. So let's be stronger and incredible together, as well as maybe just have some fun along the way. Thanks so much and talk to you soon. Bye.